Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipmouth, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toh, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there's nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I ask all of you representatives of our people to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday beginning at 8 p.m. on ELBC Radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies around the country. The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipmouth, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toh, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off.
And Liberia. Good evening, Liberia. My name is Fabienne Quia. Let me now take this time to welcome you to another edition of Nightline Liberia, a prime-time talk show on ELBC 99.9 and other frequencies across the country, as well as LNTV2. Nightline Liberia is a meeting of the minds with some of Liberia's best and brightest political analysts. Let me now cross over to our moderator. Good evening, Anthony Vawen.
Good evening, Fabienne. Good evening to all of you listening out there. Good evening to our panelists. It's really, really wonderful to be back here again on Nightline Liberia, having had a whole night of rain and an entire day of bashing from the rain, at least from what we know in the Pinsville area where we're located. I don't know what the situation has been like in your location, but it's good that we are back again on Nightline Liberia. This is where we meet to discuss those pertinent issues that are of interest to all of us. Tonight, our focus is going to be on the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. We're pleased to have tonight with us the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. I hope we have him already. If we don't, we'll have him very, very shortly. But you know that Honorable Mo Ali is the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. So today or tonight on the program, we're looking at the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. Its progress, success, challenges, its vision, what was looking into achieving as time goes by. So this is what we will be looking at tonight. Now, wherever you are, sit by your sets, whether it's your radio, whether you are online, whatever platform you're using, we all know the value of water, and in this case, water and sewer. So again, good evening. We're still waiting to see whether we have access to our guest tonight, who happens to be the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. But I guess you've heard many people, and maybe I pick back on Fabin here. Too often time you hear people say water is life. When you hear that, what comes to mind?
I think water is life. Whenever I hear people mentioning that phrase, I know water in itself forms or significant or plays a significant role in our lives. And so it's useful for every other thing, because take for example, I have a relative who once told me that, Fabin, whenever I wake up in the morning and when there's nothing to eat like food, I take a cup of water that saves me for the day. So obviously, once you have water, you have life, and especially in abundance. Some countries don't usually or have not experienced such abundance of water. Take for example, today it's been a rainy and wet day in the city of Monrovia, and some areas and in its environs that are not opportune to have the needed water. You find people trying to fetch the rainwater that we term as being natural. So obviously, everything that we do, we need water because it's part of life. And so that's why we often hear people saying water is life.
Yeah, I mean, and besides just for drinking, for food,
cooking, washing,
there's a washing, cleaning up. Yeah. When you talk about wash, you also talk about water. So when you're talking water and sewer, it's a situation that really cannot be overemphasized. So still watching to see, do we have the managing director now? We don't as yet. We're also watching to see whether our panelists are already online. But again, let me remind you that this is Nightline Liberia. This is the fastest growing radio or show on radio and television and other platforms. You can get us on so many other platforms. So let's play the team once again while we get these guys on.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipmouth, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there is nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I ask all of you representatives of our people to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, love Liberia, and build it.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday beginning at 8 p.m. on ELBC Radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies around the country.
The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. We're anticipating our panelists who will join us in this conversation. We also are anticipating our guest for tonight, who happens to be the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. It's one of those public entities that is providing a key service to the population. We oftentimes we used to hear a lot of complaints about no pipe-borne water available, the sewage lines are bad, water not coming in the pipelines, and all these kinds of things. So the Water and Sewer Corporation has the mandate to ensure that the issue of water and sewer is taken care of. Fabien, what are some of the key functions you've seen water and sewer undertake over the time?
Well, basically, the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, the issue of water being pumped into various communities in and around Monrovia has been a long time. And so most time you hear them talking about pipes, the turbines being fixed or maybe being damaged and they needed to go to White Plains and blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you go in some communities like for the island area, you find people dipping water from pipes, either from underground. I noticed that
broken pipes in most instances.
I noticed that one time on my way to work, because I live on the Japanese freeway area, and normally they pass through that whole community, and you find people queue up in the morning with kiosks or gallons or pans,
those kinds of things.
Trying to dip water while in queue from some pipe or so. Obviously, you won't see the pump at the top, but you find somebody down in a hole and they're dipping the water up like this. But I think of recent, the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation has been installing pipes to provide water to Monrovia and this environs. And we hope that when we have the managing director, Mr. Mohammed Ali, on shortly, because he's trying to set up to join us, he will talk a lot about what they are involved with and what they intend doing. But just before we go into that, just a brief history about the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. It was created by an act to amend the Public Utilities Law in 1973. The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation is empowered to construct, install, establish, operate, manage, and supply to all points in Liberia safely and perform all sewage service, as well as to maintain water and sewage facilities. In line with this act that was created, the Water and Sewer was established in 1973 under the Act of Legislature. Thomas Gua is online, and let's welcome him. Good evening, Thomas.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. I'm happy to be back after all the after overcoming the obstacles with,
Glad to have
creativity.
you on
I
the
think
show
this will.
tonight.
Thank you, thank you.
So, Thomas, welcome tonight. Our spotlight is on water in Sibo. Just quite recently, there has been the whole situation of water not being in most parts, especially of the capital Monrovia, let alone other parts of the country. In time past, in some of the counties, you noticed that there was water and sewer. They had these. Water supply points, all of that went into quite a bit of challenge. Uh, we saw a lot of people moving around with these giant size wheelbarrows with jerry cans, moving water from one place to another. Too often we saw that the sewage lines were bursted, and a lot of spillage, unpleasant scenes of spillage all over, especially in the capital. And this is where we decided to place the spotlight tonight on water and sewer, and the person well placed to tell us the progress, the challenges, the plans, the vision for the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, who happens to be the managing director, Mohammed Ali, who will be coming to speak to us and the Liberian people about the efforts they're making, the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, the challenges they're facing, and what prospects there are. But before we have them, we just want to get your own reflections when it comes to the issue of water and sewer. What is your own overall reflection?
Well, I think it would be good if I allowed the guest the opportunity to come and make his comment or lay out his his vision or whatever he prepared for this for tonight. But notwithstanding, we all know that water is life. Even when God created, the heavens and the heavens and the eye, um, we were told that one of the things that you could see in abundance was water, and you had to separate them out. So water is very important because we use it for a lot of things. People overlook these things, but we use it for day-to-day cooking, laundry, just about a lot of most part of our life depends on water. So having the government or the Water and Sewage Corporation find a solution for Liberia would be actually something that we all wish for, that we are all yearning for. Because after the Civil War, Liberia has barely recovered from this water issue, and I have not seen any clear vision from previous regimes about this water issue. It has just been, I mean, political, quote unquote, talks meant for political correctness. But the water issue in this country is something that we need to pay attention to, because it will help in a lot of ways. Not having good water, pipe-borne water, could leads to some of the diseases we find in our population. And I think that it is important that we try to tackle this issue so that we can be above some of these problems that we face in terms of health, in terms of you know not having the capacity to provide these services to our population, majority of our population, if not all, in rural areas and everywhere. It shouldn't just be about Morovia, but to all parts of the country. So as we wait for our guests, I will hope that these are some of the things he will be touching on about how we will get water to all parts of Morovia, and then to other parts of the country, and how long it would take, what are the resources involved, and what areas of opportunities they have explored in terms of donors, other partners, in helping to resolve this issue that we have in this country. It's really a serious issue. Um, Going back to prior years, we know that we've had issues with cholera, which results from the kind of water people drink, cholera outbreaks, and other health issues. I hope that he has he has a robust plan, a robust national plan that can lead us into a better future when it comes to water, pipe-borne water. Thank you.
Yes, I mean you're right. I mean, and more than that, the issue of sewer. We all remember at a point in time, in the Liberian parlance, there was this thing that came out by a Liberian comedian. He used to say, "Hold your nose and pass," meaning, the areas were not sanitary because of a spillage of wastes from our sewage lines. People have to run their restrooms, their washrooms, and the shortage of pipe borne water, running water. They found it difficult ensuring sanitation in terms of keeping the homes, the bathrooms clean, and some of the times the structure itself, the Liberia water and sewer structure on the ground, the pipes and all of that. We heard many complaints about corrosion. The pipes would break, and water intended for communities would be wasted. Those who should benefit, they will not get the. Imagine if you have water spilling from a pipeline. By the time you get 100 gallons, you may have lost at least 500 gallons, because most of the water goes to waste. Like Fabian said, usually the water is not coming through the pipes and through the proper taps, and so people have to go in there, or sometimes underground, to scoop the water. In the process, a lot of it is lost. And remember, water is a resource that Liberia could benefit from immensely, but most of the time we didn't have that. And so even in the immediate past administration of the water and sewer, we had so many complaints about how the issues of staff welfare, the issues of how the water and sewer was not, up to what the population expected in terms of rendering its service around water and sewer. We've been hearing, I know we said Mo himself will have to come in and provide information as to what is it that they're doing, what did they inherit, what the challenges are, what progress they're making, what the plans are. But at least for now, to be able to track and talk about the progress that they are making. But clearly, given what we saw at the time physically, in terms of the information coming out of the LWSC itself, and what we saw on the streets, for an example, around the country, where I remember growing up in Vonjama, there was water and sewer. They were quite strong, and I know quite a number of other places there are water and sewer. But for now, we see that there are some activities ongoing. We may not have the details, but the kind of cry we heard. Oh, no water, especially during the dry season. Oh, the pipelines are broken. We always hear about this 36-inch pipeline that is always breaking. Citizens, building their homes over these pipelines and all these kinds of things. What do you think in terms of ourselves as Liberians when these facilities are made available to us? It doesn't end with water and sewer, but sometimes the way we treat them, the way we manage them, leaves a lot to be desired of us. What do you think? And I'm talking to you, Gua.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening, and I'm just following. Like, you are touching all of the main points. Um, Indeed, Liberia has a long way to go when it comes to this whole issue of water and the sewage thing you were talking about. There are still places in major in parts of Morovia where you know you go to and then you still hold your nose and like you said and
Mhm.
pass however you describe it. Even at our own LBS, we realized that for years we had this sewage stockpile in our place and they weren't being removed until the director general of the entity requested the water and sewage corporation to come and help us. And we saw the number of trucks, truckload of sewage that was removed from our entity, and now to talk about other places around the country. So um, I think is a challenge, because I think there's a major challenge, because if it hadn't been, um, I don't see why it hasn't been done, or it hasn't been, taken care of over the years. There might be some challenges, and again, he is in the best position to tell us. But obviously, we know that there are challenges. There could be financial challenges. There could be um, constraints when it comes to the infrastructure, because after the Civil War, nothing major has been put in place to revitalize or revamp all of those pipes, like you were mentioning, those corroded pipes and all of that. So I think it requires a lot of resources, and how they are going about, um, galvanizing resources for this, I am not sure, but I would have wished that he would be here to help us give some clarity on how Liberia intends to move forward with this um, issue. I would have been asking him about plans about upgrading and expanding the water and sewage infrastructure, um, especially in underdeserved rural communities. Okay, I would have wished to get some answers from him about what measures are being taken to ensure that the water supply to public, you know, to the public or our people meets international safety and quality standards. Um, you know, there's so much more I would have wished to ask him, and I hope he still comes. Um, I will also, if there are answers to how he could discuss, the water and sewage, addressing financial challenges, like I said, um, shows us, the funding gaps, ensuring that the thing there is sustainability in how they operate the Labrador Water and Sewage Corporation. So there's so much more. I would have even wished to ask him if there are any plans to probably privatize or something, form some kind of public-private partnership um, with some other entities to be able to improve the water and sewage services in Liberia. If the government cannot handle it, if it's too costly, or if we don't have the resources, can we privatize it to see whether there are other businesses out there that can come and take on the responsibility and give us clean, drinking water, and ensure that our sewage systems are well improved to international standard. Um, and then how we could be able to address the environmental concerns related to wastewater management and pollution control. So there's so much, there's is a convoluted topic that I think he himself will, is going through a lot of challenges in finding ways to really be able to address the issue of um, a country that has gone through several years of war, even though it's been many years after the war, but we still continue to um, feel, we can still feel the impact of the war. So
Yeah,
I if there's any to
yeah,
invitation.
we're still waiting for the guests to come, but at the same time, we think that the issue of water and sewer is of such a great concern, hoping that he is monitoring, because just heard from Fabin that he was trying to set up. Uh,
Okay, that's
there could
great.
also
That's
be people who already want to throw their questions in early. So
right.
I was thinking, Fabin, that we could ask people, look, we're anticipating the managing director. Would they want to go ahead to tell us what they would ask the managing director were he in the studio? What do you think?
Yes, I think the issue about the water and sewer tonight is a very important topic. There are so many questions to be asked, and we expect so many answers in return. And so, gradually, as the show moves on, I'm sure he's going to log in and we'll have him. If not today, we can also get him here another time. But when we try to interact with the colors, we expect to hear much. Because when you read about the act that created the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, it says a lot, especially something that I got concerned about, that they were there to operate, manage, and supply to all parts of Liberia safely and perform all sewages. It said that I'm concerned because I always say that Monrovia is in Liberia, and probably not the entire city of Monrovia is opportune or have been opportune to have running water in their homes. And so, if we are not opportune in Monrovia to have such, what's about others that are in the leeward counties?
Right.
Are they benefiting or are they going to benefit? Because, to be frank, since the war, several turbines have been destroyed, and we had children, women gave birth to children. Some of them have never seen or running water in the house, probably in the kitchen or in the bathroom or elsewhere. They haven't seen that. All they know, some of them got used to going to creeks and getting water from creeks to drink, and going to wells to fetch water, which of course at times it is not helpful to our well-being. So we hope to have the managing director to explain more, because we all know the phrase water is life, and we know what water can do and what water is capable of doing to the survivability of humans. So um, I think we have to go ahead and wait to see whether he will log in, and so we can have this issue discussed.
And I also want to remind us that all through last night and throughout today, we've had a lot of rain. I hope the network will serve us right.
Mhm.
Uh, but but again, the issue of water, the issue of water and sewer. In fact, I like to state that sanitation is a part of the government's operational agenda. You remember the arrest agenda, sanitation is among them, and here we're talking
Right.
about water and sewer. The water plays a key role in the business of sanitation. So we go a little early while we are with the managing director. We too will track those questions in case he doesn't monitor. We can always replace those questions to the managing director when he comes on, so that he provides us, the answers that we're looking for tonight. So again, this is Nightline Liberia on ELBC, LNTV, all the frequencies across the country. You can get us on Facebook, the social media platforms. You can get us there as well. So tonight you can call us on 0772 876 481, 0772 876 481. We're talking about water and sewer. What is your contribution in terms of what is it that you understand about water and sewer, the value that water and sewer brings in terms of the work that it does? What questions do you have in terms of the availability, the affordability of water, for an example? What do you think about the sanitary condition when it comes to the spillage that we used to see around town? where a little bit of rain will cause a lot of a lot of trash, a lot of dirt, a lot of waste products coming out of the those corroded lines, and those places becoming a Hoyer nose and pass, like we always say. So call us on 0772 876-481. Your question tonight should be directed to the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, because we are him in the lineup for tonight's appearance. We're not all too sure what is the problem, but we are also aware that we've had a bad weather since last night and throughout today. So call us on that line, and please, your question concerning water and sewer. Somebody once said that somebody visited from the rural parts, and this person in Monrovia had an opportunity to have a building with fresh bathroom toilets and all of that, and this guest was asked to go and they wanted to use the bathroom, and they were told to go inside, and the president said, no, I mean, you can't do that where you sleep, so I would rather go in the bush. So I mean, it was like, no, you can't go in the bush, it has to be done here, and that education had to be provided. Let's go to the telephone lines and see who's there. Hello, caller. Good evening, caller. Okay, the caller has dropped. But call us on 0772 876 481, 0772 876 481. We're discussing water and sewer. We're expecting the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, Mohammed Ali. This is Nightline Liberia on ELBC on 99.9 FM and other frequencies across Liberia. So let's go to the line and pick this caller. Hello, caller. Yeah. Please tell me your name and where you calling from.
Please, I'll be audible a little.
Yes, I can hear you clear. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, but then I'm hearing a lot of sound from behind you. You need to lower your whatever sound that is behind you. Then you'll be able to hear me clearly. Yeah.
You can get me now?
I'm getting you loud. I'm getting you loud and clear. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you listen to the topic we're discussing tonight?
Yeah, you people are discussing today about water and sewer, isn't it?
Yes. So what's your contribution?
Yeah, my name is Benedict Ngbe, and I call from G0.
Okay, Benedict.
Yeah, and my question has to do with why is water and sewer far lacking behind compared to LEC when it comes to rehabilitation. After all, we see that both LEC and water and sewer are receiving massive international support. IMF, World Bank, African Development Bank is providing money, but yet water and sewer is so far behind. I want the managing director to tell me why is it this way.
Okay, thank you so much. His claim is that he feels that water and sewer is getting a lot of international support, but they're not there yet. As far as he's concerned, he wants to find out from the managing director why, in his opinion, the LWSC is lagging behind. So just like Gua said, this is why it's good for the managing director to be here. I mean, probably we will think that the LWSC is lagging behind because we don't have the information. Let's go to the line and pick this caller. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Fine.
Yes, please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling on LPS Radio.
Yes, you are calling on LBS Radio. You are on the program Nightline Liberia. Oh, mine. So probably you have to call again. You drop, but you are actually on ELBC and other frequencies on Nightline Liberia. We're discussing water and sewer tonight, and we've given you an opportunity to call. Hello, caller. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, I'm calling from Monrovia. I'm Gibson Basin.
Gibson Beze, you listen to the topic. What's your contribution?
Yeah, I want to know why is it cause that the water and sewer is in Monrovia and few counties and not in all counties, because it should be like every citizen of this country should have process of getting water to drink and take bath.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you. So why is it water and sewer is in Monrovia and not in all counties? Okay, Monrovia and not all counties. So let's go to the line and see who's there. Hello, caller. Okay, nobody's there yet, but you can call us on 0772-876-481, 0772-876-481. We are discussing water and sewer today. Of course, I mean, I know that many people have been before now complaining about access to water, affordability of water, and some people have talked about, the sewage system and blaming it on a poor sewage line and all of that. So let's go to the line. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you. This is Emmanuel P. Toba calling from Doe Estate, Bonus Farm.
Emmanuel Toba, let's hear you. You listen to the topic.
Thank you. I'm listening to your student guest. We say thank you for them for coming on to educate the Liberian people of water. And it is very essential. But my concern has to do with somebody said they are not going to other counties. Even the county that water and sewer is being situated, up to now, there are communities that have not been able to receive water to cover the entire Monrovia County. Even the city part, like you can face your city, one of the biggest cities in Liberia. Up to now, you don't have water everywhere. People are still struggling to get water from where and other things. And my next concern is, what are they doing to see how best they can expand their hands to other places and educate people? Yes, because these are things that people need to understand and be empowered to how they can work with the system of water and sewer. How are they really managing to do that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. He feels that, okay, so not only outside of Montserrat, even in parts of Montserrat, we don't have water. Yeah, but let's hear you. Tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is James. Come on, I come from Yekepa.
James, let's hear you from way out there. So let's hear you.
Yeah, every time I monitor Netherlands Liberia, and I see the police director or the manager talking about what happened to the Liberia Water Sewer Corporation manager also.
Well, we're told that he's trying to log in. We're not entirely sure what is happening because we agreed that he will phone in.
Issues he needs to respond to. He's not there.
Yeah, so we're still hoping that he will be here. So maybe you hold on a little bit and see if he will come. If not, probably you can place your question so that when we have him, we will have an opportunity to provide answers to your question.
Yeah, because our people in Sanico, other people in the country need the water from the water sewer corporation. For us here, we know what's about our water here. The community supply water for us. Yeah, for our people on that side need the water, but we need response from him.
Okay. All right. I hope he's listening and he will get it. So keep monitoring, okay? So let's go to the line and pick the next caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, this is Raymond calling from Johnsonville.
Raymond, okay, from Johnsonville. What's your contribution?
Yeah, I think that the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation has not been doing well.
Okay.
And the situation here, I don't know how many support they have received. But it is very important for Monserrato alone
to have the accessibility to pipe bomb water. Like, for example, LEC installing pools all around the city of Monrovia and outside of Monrovia, and people have electricity in their home. What is the Liberian Water and Sewer doing? What is their plan from now, 2 years from now, for Monrovia, the entire Monrovia, the Monserrate County, to have accessibility of pipe bomb water? What plan do they have in place?
Okay, so you want to know what plan they have in place to have water in the next few years. Fabian,
Cisse Goya is on tonight.
Okay, Cisse Goya has joined us.
Welcome.
Welcome, Cisse.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear. Fabian tried contacting the managing director and said that he's trying to log in. We don't have him as yet, so we thought to begin to we think that there are a lot of questions and answers out there concerning water and sewer. So we thought to begin already to give an opportunity to the followers to place their questions beforehand. But we thought also that it's important to give you an opportunity to give your opening comment about this whole issue about water and sewer as we go along, taking the callers also to place their questions. So we now give you an opportunity for your entry.
I appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Work happened, but I've been following on my phone on Facebook. So I've been following the conversation because I didn't want to come late and then ask the same question somebody else has already asked, right? But I think to Thomas's point from his opener, water is life. We have to recognize that. And the issue of sewage is of critical importance to civilization and to this world. I used to live in Liberia. I have family people live around the Loma community or the Buzok or whatever name you want to call it, going all the way up the street there. And whenever it rained, even from the Monrovia College, when there's an overflow, you see human waste coming down, and folks have to sit and endure that. They have to live in that. At one point, I used to live in Fiamma, where they call Pupu Fatre, where you had the sewage system over there. And so I think that this government, by including sanitation in its agenda, the arrest agenda, tells us that they want to really focus on this because our people cannot continue to live the way they live in. But I do have some questions, and I hope the managing director can be here. But if he doesn't show up, we can ask those questions in the hope that he's listening, and hopefully at some time he can be able to answer those questions. But for now, I'm following the conversation. And again, I may apologize for being late, but I'm at work and I had to be in a meeting, so it was hard to get out of there.
Okay, Sister, thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't stop us from asking the questions, like the callers, like the panelists, like ourselves on the show. We're all asking questions because this is a topic that concerns all of us. I mean, it's a national agenda when you include sanitation. In the country's national development plan, and considering the role of water and sewer. So we'll go back to our lines and continue to take the calls. At any point, our panelists would want to come in to chip in until we get the hello caller. Hello caller.
Hello, Nightline Liberia. How you doing?
We're doing good, and we hope you're doing good as well.
Thank you. I'm doing pretty well. I'm happy to see my man in years. I've not seen Anthony Vowell. Nippon Janate, I call from the borough of Newtown.
Hey, Nippon has been quite a long time.
Yeah, been around.
Okay, so we have a very important topic for discussion tonight.
Yeah, I'm watching and following.
Yeah, so let's get your contribution. Let's get your contribution.
I like to commend the Water and Sewer Corporation on Mo Ali administration and leadership. They've been doing a fantastic job in the city of Leeds. I haven't gone Galley and Benson Street in a session for months.
Mm.
And just some part of last week, I drove around there, and I was so amazed that place was dry. Feces were all over that place, always. Before you get to the old Inquirer office, there, that whole street. I drove there and I was so amazed, thinking that, I believe that more Ali is doing well, and he needs all the support.
So Nyepan, thank you very much. Interestingly, it was on your call that Mo joined us.
Yes.
So let's have Fabin bring him in at this point.
Good evening, Muhammad Ali. How are you, sir?
I don't know if he's getting us. The MD Muhammad Ali, are you getting us at all?
Sorry, I was muted. I was muted.
Okay, you were muted.
So, good evening to everyone. Good evening to the listening audience, those who watching via social media, and those listening via radio. I'm happy to be on the show for the first time, and I am always willing to come on.
Okay. Thank you very, very much for joining us tonight. We'd like to welcome you warmly to Nightline Liberia. We think that you hear a very crucial sector. In fact, sanitation being a part of the national agenda, and you being the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. Let me begin by asking you, how is the LWSC?
Well, at the moment, we have a little bit of challenge with our 36-inch pipe, but generally LWSC is trying to pick up, and at least we've been able to restore regular water supply to places that have our pipe connection, and also we've been able to resume water supply to Central Monrovia. We are expanding our pipe network. We are cleaning our sewer system, and then we are on the verge of putting together our 5 years development plan. And our building at Front Street really bad off from the outside. We want to try to give it some facelift. We have the issue of overstaffing of employees, and it's something that we inherited, a very huge wage bill that is absolutely not sustainable given the fact that we are not generating that much money. One of our major challenges is collecting our bills from customers. But on the overall, we understood the challenges that the entity was encountering or was faced with, and we opted to go there in order to make a difference. So normally, I don't like to complain. I like to look at the prospects of the entity and we can do to make it a very viable entity to provide the needed services to the population.
More you talk about a little problem with your 36-inch pipe. That sounds to me like you are you encouraging the population not to panic? Are you managing our fear as to accessibility and affordability of water to our homes, for an example?
No, so there is absolutely no need to panic. About 3 days ago, 3 days ago, or on Monday actually, we experienced a huge rupture in the system, and on Friday there was a rupture on the 36-inch pipe, exactly from around 200 meters from White Plains, where the water treatment pump system is. And what we've done we've managed to excavate the dirt there, and we have the rupture section. The next phase there is to put the concrete work on and then allow it to dry for like 2 to 3 days, and then we'll begin testing water supply. So basically, by Friday or Saturday, we should resume water supply to the population.
Okay, so at this point, I'd like to bring in now one of our panelists, Sizi Goya. He probably has some questions for you. Sizi, it's now your time. Here is the managing director.
Hey, Mr. Ali, how are you doing? Uh, Thank you for coming on. I know it's kind of hard right now with the rain and everything, trying to make sure your internet works. So I appreciate you taking the time to be on. I have a very quick
Thank you.
question for you. Given our rural-urban split, given our infrastructure need in Liberia, and given how inequitable that is when you leave Monrovia going down to the rural sides, my question for you is, in your plan that you're coming up with, how are you thinking about expanding rural access to water and sewer, and what innovative solutions are you trying to deploy? Because Liberia is quite unique and quite different given all of our challenges.
So, firstly, let's define the statutory function of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. So, as per the Act, we are responsible to provide water services to Monrovia, county capitals, and every center, community, or town that has a population of 5,000 and above. So communities with population below 5,000 is the responsibility of the Ministry of Public Works to provide water services and sanitation services for them. So in the plan we are making currently, we have functional water services in 3 capitals outside of Monrovia. So that's Rabosport, there's Vonjama, and Saniquile. We had water system in Zwedru, Kakata, and Buchanan. Zwedru went down 2019. Kakata and Buchanan went down 2022. At the moment, we are rehabilitating the Kakata system. We've done a comprehensive assessment of the Buchanan system. So we are going to restore water supply to those 2 places. And then including Zwedru, we are in talks with some international partners to take on Zwedru and Buchanan. USAID has accepted to rehabilitate the Kakata system. This year, we allotted money through government funding from the budget to build a mini water system in Bopolu. So that should be constructed before the end of this year. In our next budget year, 2025, we want to target 2 or 3 other county capitals. And we are targeting Sino. We are targeting Plibo. Plibo is a very populated area. That's in Maryland. We are targeting there. And we also want to target either Sester City or Banga. But we have created we have drafted a business plan that should be able to attract businesses. But on our own, that's it for the next year. And we want to continue that over the next 5 years until we can reach all of the county capitals with water supply. On the sanitation aspect, we are experimenting with some companies, encouraging them. There are standalone toilet system that you can use, and they also compost the feces and transform it into fertilizers. If that goes well, we are still in stages of negotiations. If that goes well, we want to put them in those county capitals. But more than that, if you see around, you see there are a group of engineers who are constructing this on-site sanitation, the the one they do the septic thing with the biofuel thing, and then it degrades the feces through it by itself. They build it in a way that it degrades the feces, and they are able to get compost. Now, compost is that fertilizer you use, for manure you use for growing crops and other things. You can even use it on the farm. So the intent is to first reach all of the county capitals with water supply, and then we complement that by installing sanitation system in those places. It is an extremely expensive venture to construct a wastewater treatment plant. We have one in Morovia, and that has been out since 1990. That's like 34, 35 years ago. The one at Fiamma. Assessment has shown that if we want to construct a new wastewater treatment plant at Fiamma, it will cost us anywhere between 70 to $100 million, which is extremely expensive. But we are going to include that in our 5 years development plan. And then we also, in Monserrado itself, we want to extend our water supply coverage to reach to places like Virginia, Broadview. Those places do not yet have water supply. So it's an ambitious plan, but we are doing it in a way that we'll be able to implement year by year.
Okay, so given the number of panelists we already have, Sizzy, we'll give you a chance for a second, or we move on to Thomas.
So I appreciate the answer. Thank you so much. My last question to you is, I'm particularly interested in the portable latrines you talk about. We have those here in the U.S. when we have construction sites or at parks. So that definitely is a good idea. My question in line with that though is, how are you planning, or how are you right now carrying out the collection of sewage from private homes that have their septic tanks that are not these new things that you're talking about, and are you finding it difficult now that you are in office, realizing that a lot of constructions were done after the war without any thought process on whatsoever on how the sewage and sewer will be collected? And I'm thinking about people who build in alleyways. Your trucks can get to them. They're not connected to the sewer system. What are some of the complications you see with that?
You've already succinctly laid out the complications. So when we construct in this country and we don't leave space for anything, you're in an advanced country. Every house you construct anywhere in the world should have an alley that we have create access for fire trucks, that will create access for sewer trucks, water trucks, and everything. Yeah, it is not like that. When people are constructing in the alley, you tell them, they say, oh, there's no problem, you don't do it. But more than that, even those who got land, maybe you see one lot of land, somebody wants to build 4 or 5 houses on it. The houses, even ventilation becomes a problem. So those who have septic tanks, private septic tanks, it is extremely difficult to reach those private septic tanks to dislodge them. So when they are overflowing, they become health hazard for the communities, not only for them, but for the community. And there's no way you can do that. Most of it sometimes they go through the unsafe way of dislodging them, open it, and then draw out the feces, which is extremely unsafe for their health. For places, businesses that have access to their septic tank, there are two ways. They get private sewer companies here. They have their sewer trucks. They go there, they contract them, they go there, they dislodge it, and they bring it and dump it into our facilities. So we don't do private dislodging. We leave that one for the businesses. So it is done by private businesses because that is also a means of allowing businesses to thrive. So this logging private home will leave it for the businesses. For those that are connected to the sewer system, they pay sewer bill. So we are responsible for those ones. The sewage is collected and through the sewer system is transported to the treatment plant in Fiama. Now, the kind of treatment plant we have is called the stabilization pond. The sewage is dumped there and it is acted upon, is constructed in a way that it is allowed to be acted upon by natural forces, the sun rays and bacteria. They are decomposing bacteria that they add on it and the sunshine on it, then they become completely harmless. They are transformed into compost that can be used for for gardens and farms.
So I'm concerned about the area in central Monrovia that isn't far from your head office. Take, for example, you have the Macklin Street area, Macklin and Water Streets intersection, that you have on a daily basis huge feces rolling all down to where the marketers are selling. And you have the marketers on a daily basis paying for tickets to have those buildings and streets be clean, especially by MCC. So how do you cope with such system? Because this is something that has become regular within Central Monrovia.
So there are several challenges we have. Let's start off with Macklin Street. The
Mhm.
section of Macklin Street between Broad Street and Ashmore Street. You see that section there? When the city was built, by then it was Public Utility Authority, the PUA. The Public Utility Authority has a line over there. There is a sewage line going all the way through to Randall Street. And during the olden days, nobody was allowed to build on the public utility line. So you had an access there for sewer truck because you had the sewage line there and you also had the telephone line. By then, people were using this landline. So the telephone line was passing there. But guess what? They've constructed on that line. And now it makes it extremely difficult to clean the sewer line. Because in order to rot the sewer line, the truck has to be on one end and you have the crew on another end so that you can be able to put the rod through and clean the line. But even if you have the truck park on the Macklin Street side, you put the rod through. People went and constructed right on top of the what you call the manhole. It's actually called the sewer inspection chamber. They constructed on top of that inspection chamber and they sealed it up. We took weeks talking to them. We had to force our way in, break the tap from there. In fact, after we threatened that we were going to demolish the entire structure, they allow us, we break the tap. So we managed to dry that place and open it up. So right now, you won't see feces flowing there. The portion, I think it was the caller who talked about on Benson, is that Benson Street? Yeah, Benson and Galley Street. That place was always filled with feces. That's because where they had Inquirer newspaper, the entire line over there going to Center Street is a sewer line. They are constructed on that entire sewer line, and there is a sewer inspection chamber or manhole behind there, which we are supposed to use to clean the system. They constructed on it, it made that very difficult for us, and so we had to use imagine from that Gary Street all the way down through to Center Street to clean our system. And finally, we managed to open it up. It is the same way down Waterside people construct on this line. The second challenge we face, the sewer inspection covers, those inspection chambers, the manhole covers, became a big business. So you got people who just go there, steal the top off, and carry it to scrap metal dealers because it's a very valuable steel. They sell it to them. Now, when you leave the manhole open, people use it as dump site. They go there, they dump in the night. Once you put dirt there and it's filled out, the sewer line gets clogged. So when people flush their toilets, it doesn't go through the system. It comes right into the streets. So that's why you have most of these problems. So we've been able to open all of the lines of down water side from Water Street going down from Como Hill everywhere. We've signed a contract with Seti Brother to manufacture the taps. The only thing is that most of the taps we are manufacturing now will be concrete instead of concrete. So there wouldn't be any much incentive to go and steal it. And then the concrete is going to be extremely heavy. So stealing it is not going to do you any good. So those are some of the challenges we face. Access to the sewer inspection chambers, people constructing on them. Then you got people stealing the taps to sell them to scrap dealers. So in fact, that we went through the Justice Ministry. We've had a meeting with the scrap dealers that whenever you see people bringing the sewer tap, the manhole tap, just seize it from them and bring it, report it to the Water and Sewer Corporation.
Okay, so Thomas Gore is also on the show tonight. That's one of our panelists. He also has some questions for you, Thomas. Are you ready?
Yeah. Thank you, and welcome, Mr. Manager. Just so we don't forget our callers, I jotted down a few of the questions before you came. And so I will just read out their questions, and then once you are done with those, then I can just ask you another one from my end. The first caller said, "Why is the Liberia Water and Sewage Corporation far behind compared to LEC?" The second caller said, "Why is the LWSC not decentralized?" Um, he basically meant, it was just concentrated around Monrovia and not in other parts of the country. And so, but as opposed to what you just said, because you talk about other places that you guys are operating. But yeah, that was the question. And then another person said, "Why is the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, why has it not been doing well? What is it doing? What's the future vision for pipeline water?"
So Gibson, I mean, or Goya, we can. No, that's Goa. Goa, we can have you take three at a time and allow the managing director to respond. You can come back again if you have
those
additional
three
ones.
are the ones that came from.
Go over the first question.
Come
Just
again.
the first question. The first question.
The first one is, why are you far behind compared to LEC?
Well, so I believe the reason why the Water and Sewer Corporation is behind are several reasons. Number one, I believe there were management issues in the past, and I'm not going to blame any particular one management. The management issues in the past, that's number one. Number two, I believe we've not given the attention that water and sewer deserve. The thing with water is that when people are getting water all of the time, they don't see it as being important. And so even national government has not placed that much premium on water. And so they don't give it the attention. And once that attention is not given, the money is not coming there. So water and sewer, as old as it is, they say it should stand on its own, but it's very young in terms of looking out for support. And so the entity deserves and requires all of the support to move forward. So that's why we are behind. We place much more attention on the electricity, which is very, very important. But we can have all of the electricities and everything. If you don't have the water, Survival makes it difficult. That's why those who have water in their home, the moment water goes, it becomes a serious problem. So can you go over the second question?
The second one says, what is the LWSC? Why is it not decentralized? Why is it
So
not in all parts of the country?
let me go back to the history. Firstly, LWSC was just first Morovia water utility, water and sewer utility, and then the act was created to separate it from the Public Utility Authority in 1973. But the problem is that even when the act established the water and sewer, most time people actually just pay attention to only Morovia as compared to even Pinsville. It's just in recent time, in fact, water has started going through to Pinsville and being connected to homes, other parts of Pinsville. They were always, and the pipe passes through Pinsville, where the major pipe passes through is where they call pipeline. That community they call pipeline is because it's where the water and sewer pipe actually passes through to Monrovia. So it has not been decentralized because most of the managers and because of the low level of support have not been able to go to the counties. We are trying to change that. It should be for every community that has a population of 5,000 persons or every county capital. So, like I said, we have water system in 3 counties now. It was 6. We are trying to put the other 3 back on, and then we'll get Bopolu City on, and then next year we're striving to get 2 or 3 more cities on, county capitals.
Okay, and the last one, I think you already touched on some of it. It said, why has it says LWSC has not been doing well. That was a statement. And
Well,
what
basically,
is it
let me
doing now?
say again,
What is
NWSC has
the
not been
face of
doing well for 2 reasons. Number one, I believe is management issue. Number two, is the issue of support. And when I say management issue, people should not be fast to think that it is corruption, only corruption, but management issue in terms of even people, customers paying their bills. I'll give you one example. We billed people, for example, in January, around 200 plus thousand. The entity was able to collect just, I think, $39,000. In March, the bill went up to 455,000. Guess what? We collected only 167,000. Those are management issue. And the way we can remedy that, we are trying to see how best we can introduce the prepaid meters. With that one, I'm not saying 100% we will eliminate it, but we'll be able to collect at least 80% of our bill, which will be able to sustain the entity.
Okay. So into
Okay,
my
so
question, which you've partly, answered. So those were the questions from the callers when the manager was not here. So my thing is, you just talk about not being able to collect fees, and then you talk about a business plan, which is basically how you intend to, you've analyzed the economy, the challenges, all of that, and how you intend to achieve whatever goals you have. With the issue of the collection issues that you are going through, how do you intend to really make this business plan work? What do you have in there to show to us, tell us that the the LWSC is going to succeed, is taking a new path, that is not going to be business as usual.
So the business plan, firstly, is intended to attract investors. To tell you, first, you go through the cash flow of the entity. Look, we are telling you if you invest, for example, into the water sector, you'll be able to generate your money, right? So at the moment, we are
How
dealing
do I
between four.
generate it if you're not collecting?
So I'm coming now. I'm coming.
Okay.
If a private entity runs the LWSC, it's going to be way different from the government utility, because when you pump your money in as a private entity, you're going to make sure to collect your money. So we are telling you, if you are a private investor, we say at the moment, for example, we have around 14,000 verified customers. Hello, you getting me?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we have between 14 to 15,000 verified customers. If each of these customers, the family customers, were paying at least $5 or $10 as their water bill every month, you calculate that and see how much you generate from water alone every month. Now, if you were collecting 80% of that, you introduce, we say first, introduce the prepay meter, so that if Thomas wants water, he pay for it ahead of time. Now we don't have to say Thomas uses the water, and at the end of the month you run behind him. When you want the water, the same thing with LEC. You buy your current, you put your code, come on. When your money finish, current goes up. Same thing we want to introduce. So like that, first, you'll be selling the meters to the customer. They will pay over time. Number two, you know that once water is supplied, you will be able to generate your resources. So you go to places like Buchanan, for example, you look at the capital, I mean, the population there. You look at the businesses that are there. You have the port, you have metal steel, you got hotels, businesses by law are under obligation to get water supply from water and sewer once you are within 200 feet of the water and sewer pipeline. So we'll be able to generate money from there. You go to Banga, it's a populated city. You go to Ganta, it's a populated city. But you also look at these places. So even the people who drink water sachet, they sell plastic bear water, they make money from it. So the business opportunities are there. And then you look at the sewer system. Come to think of it, if you think water goes in your house, is bad. Think when they block your sewer line. Let me tell you what happens when they block your sewer line. You use your combo, you flush it, the toilet is not going anywhere. When you bathe in your bathtub, the water remaining right there with you because your sewer line is blocked. And everybody who is connected, sewer is one of the things that brings money to water and sewer. Even though we have less number of customers, but the collection rate for sewer customers is way 80%, 80%, whereas the collection rate for water customers is between 25 to 30%. So if you introduce smart meters, you'll be able to go and collect up to 80, 85%. And then that means if you had to spend money and you just say on the average, forget about the big companies, the beer factories, the port, the LPRC. You get 14,000 customers and you just build each of them $5 every month. Multiply and see what you'll be getting. Just in Monrovia and Painesville. So the business plan is there to tell you when you invest here, you can take this number of years to generate your money and profit.
So does that mean you want to privatize or you want to go public-private partnership? And if
Exactly.
an investor were to invest into
The public-private partnership, because there are certain aspects of the LWSC, because of the security nature of it, it's advisable not to privatize. Like The water treatment,
Okay.
we are not as advanced as other places. That is that
Okay.
falls simply within the domain of the state. You don't just want to outsource your
Yeah.
water treatment to other people. So we can treat the water and send it through your system. You distribute it, you do the collection and everything. But the water treatment should remain with the state.
Okay. So then let's just dig a little deeper into that, and that would be my last question. If you
Mm.
are inviting people to come and invest into your entity, now say you have you know, um, 5 to 6 years. Now, there is this tendency that African governments don't honor the previous government's contract, or there are always some political undertone that delay or end up frustrating investors. How long will it take these investors to get the return on their money, get their money back? Is it going to be within one term or two term, or within this term, this 6 year term of the Unity Party government, or is it going to go beyond? And what guarantees are you giving to these people that should there be a different government, that they are still going to get their money back?
So the one you're talking about, I know maybe it works for development plan, but it doesn't apply to contracts. A government is government and contract is contract. It doesn't matter which government signs that contract, except if that contract has things that are to the disadvantage of the population or the state. So
Well,
all
sometimes
the
it can just
contracts.
be appropriation
No,
or
no, 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 no.
expropriation, or
Yes,
just
no.
government trying
So
to be
if you
political.
for example,
These are
if you
political risks.
sign a contract, if you sign a contract for 10 years to distribute water, no government can take it from you because there are clauses in our contract. There is a termination clause, but with benefits, except if you are not implementing according to the contract. So, for example, even at water and sewer, all the contracts you inherit, you don't just cancel or terminate people contract because that the other party were there and this other party is coming. It doesn't work like that. So,
Okay.
what I know you're talking about, maybe this government plans to do something and then the government does not win the next election. I know, which is the wrong thing to do. A government come in, they do this sort of plan. But that is the reason why, in fact, the development plans, the medium term development plans are mostly structured to carry out and complete within a term of a particular government. So, like for example, the PAPD. The PAPD
Mhm.
was launched in 2018 for 5 years, and that was 2018 or early, and started in 2019 and was completed in 2023. So we are now doing a development plan which will go for 5 years. That will be completed, will be exhausted in 2028 or so. So that's how it is with development plan, because the thought is that, when new government come, they got their own ideas, they want to have their own development plan, which is understandable, but that doesn't apply to contracts. Contracts are laws
Okay.
that you
Thank
can just.
you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I know some people are following us online. Fabian, do we have some people following us? Can we recognize them at this point?
Yeah, a lot of them are following us online, as I can see from the comments.
Can we recognize some of them?
Um, let's just continue later on.
Okay, so um, among the questions that were asked by the callers on the show, there was this whole question that came around making water accessible to to all of Monserrato or most of Monserrato, if not the rest of the country. I know the managing director talked a little bit about that. The question is, do customers do customers, do the citizens themselves, people who should be customers of the water and sewer, have any responsibility? Take for example, breaking pipelines, or seeing pipelines broken, and perhaps not alerting the authorities, and making so much water to be lost by the LWSC, rather than the people benefiting from them. Do the population of marketers, business people, users of water, do they have an obligation to help the LWSC in ensuring that the water they produce doesn't go to waste?
So definitely, the citizens have lots of obligations. So number one, your first obligation as a customer of LWSC, whether a water customer or sewer customer, is to ensure that you pay your bill. Number two, when you as a responsible citizen see water leaking somewhere, at least call the authority at LWSC, report it, give the location, so that we can be able to come and repair the leaks urgently. Number three, there are those who want to steal water. They can bypass the meters. It's your responsibility not to steal water. Number four, they got another group of people who steal water. They don't have the water system in their home. What they do is that they break the pipe, get the water, and then just leave the broken pipe there. Then the water is just wasting. I tell you this, right? We pump, at the moment we are pumping 10.4 million gallons a day. But guess what? About 70% of that goes to waste. You know how many millions we're talking about that? We're talking about between 6 to 7 million gallons wasting, either through theft, through leakage, and those refusing to pay bills. So on the list, multiply 10.4 million gallons, right, by 0.005. It tells you how much 10.4 million gallon costs. You multiply that by 0.005. And then one day, take 80% of that and see how much is water and sewer supposed to generate in a day's time. And multiply maybe by 30. And that does not include, demand customers like the beer factory and other places. So those are things that citizens should be responsible to do. Pay your water bills, report water theft, report water leak. Don't burst the water pipe because you want 1 or 2 buckets of water. So citizens are responsible in ensuring that the entity remains vibrant.
And one of the callers was raising concern about the level of education the LWSC is providing to the citizens, like you've done now. Are you doing near enough education to let the citizens know that they have these responsibilities and obligations?
So I will admit that since we took over, we've not really done a massive publicity awareness on some of these things, other than these occasional appearances on the radio stations. We've not done them, so it is part of our next year plan. When we took over in March, there were lots of issues that we had to overcome. First, we needed to regularize water supply. We needed to clean the city up with the excess sewage spillage. We needed to restore water supply to Central Monrovia. We needed to conduct assessment on other places. So the time was not there to get into the publicity aspect. So part of the plan next year is to launch this massive public campaign on most of these things that I just talked about, and also how people can get connected. We want to make it easier, the registration process. Our technicians are working on this so that it can go online. That you just need to go online, do your registration. People come and do the assessment, and then do your connection.
Well, before we take the next set of questions from our callers and followers, you talk about management problem. One of the things that a lot of the citizens heard was that there was a lot of acrimony at the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. There was quite a bit of tension about payment, salaries, jobs, and different kinds of situations. It would seem that some level of calm has returned. Can you give us an update on that?
Hello?
Yes, I was saying that prior to the coming of your regime, if you will, there was a lot of acrimony at the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. There was so much some kind of noise and some kind of confusion, and things didn't look right in terms of peaceful coexistence, in terms of harmonious coexistence at the LWSC. I'm asking what's the situation now, and if we are seeing, looks to me like a kind of a calm down. How did you do that?
So, one thing I don't like to do is to talk much about the past administration in a negative manner. Things I heard there was that there was always misunderstanding or argument between the managing director and other deputy managing directors. For whatever reason, I haven't gone into that. I don't know if it was an issue of work relationship or whatever it is. But what we are doing at top management level, there are several things. Number one, nobody attempts to usurp the function of another person. If you're a deputy managing director for operations or for technical services, you do your work without any interference. But what we do is to complement each other. The administration guy is responsible for administration, and we lead that to him and his team. If he needs our advice, we give it to him, and we give assignment out. The same thing with all of the other deputy managing directors, and we are like a family there. We try to build family, we try to build familyship so that we have the paramount interest of the entity protected. The other thing I heard, well, this is a fact that there was problem with salary payments. Um, as it stands, the current arrears that we inherited for employee is around 1.45 million dollars. Some employees, they owe employees for 2021, some months there, and some months in 2023. We are managing to pay that. At least the subsidy government is giving us. We signed a memorandum of understanding with the government, use our subsidy to pay our employees' salary, and we will raise our own operational funds. And that's what we've been doing. And so things have calmed down. We make everyone to understand that we are there to serve the people and to make the entity a vibrant one. It's not good for the entity name to be out there always for the negative things. And LWSC has professional people. Our engineers are very professional. Our staff, professional people, and they are committed to work. What they need is the motivation and complementing their work. So once people are motivated, the work they produce.
Okay, so we will go back to the line again and take the last round of callers. So you call us on 0772 876 0772 876 you listen to the managing director. He answered some of the questions we had. Hello, caller.
Good evening to your DC family and good evening to my peace loving people of Liberia. By the way, the introduction, I'm Alfonso A.F. Kamal. I join this conversation for all my peaceful residents to be beside in the Christian community.
Alfonso, let's hear you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity you have afforded me to speak to my fellow Liberians already learned. As the managing director has said all, and we ourselves as a Liberian, we see some level of changes from the Water and Sewer Cooperation Department on that of the previous government. And he said a lot of things that are very motivation that they are taking water and sewer to the urban cities around Monrovia and 8 environs. It's good. No, let's be friends. We should not politicize everything in this country. But let's be realistic in discussing national issue when it comes to national level. No, they come here, they are 8 months in power. But we are seeing some level of improvement, some level of changes in other sectors and ministry agencies.
Okay.
Same more as they took over for water and sewer for that or Donna Kamau. We are seeing a level. We are seeing sometimes we should be passing.
Okay, so thank you very much, Alfonso.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is James Vikane, and I call you from Central Virginia.
Please go ahead, Kane.
Okay, thank you ever so much to your panelists, and thank to the managing director for his expose. My question has to do with how soon, because I heard him saying that they want to also bring water to Liberia and Virginia. How soon is he planning to do that? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. How soon will you bring water to that part? Let's see who's on the line. Hello, caller.
Good evening.
Yes, please tell me your name and where you calling from.
Yeah, my name is Aliyu, particularly Mexican family and
Aliyu, let's hear your contribution.
Yeah, let me say thank you to the managing director of the Water and Sewer. You know, I want to address and comment everything from our president.
Okay.
President always put people position that they belong. Especially a training, you know. Nothing in managing director is concerning the politics. The example myself here, I made more than 22 years, especially between Galley and Tracy Street, coming down the Summer Street. Today, you get on the way to go to be working all the people at all, placard and party, get a free job.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aliyu. Thank you very much. Is there another caller on the line? Caller, please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, how are you? My name is Jared Kwantare, and I'm calling from a fire store.
Let's hear you, Boakai.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to ask the managing director, you know, the water and sewer, one serious component I water and sewer is the sewer system. I don't know what mechanism is he putting in place to dislodge the FEMA plan, because the practical plan, the Ghana can be taken from there, even so to agriculturalists.
Okay.
So, can he tell us what mechanism is he putting in place to see how the system can work to us?
Okay. So let's go to the line. Take the next caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, please tell me your name and where you calling from.
Yeah, my name is Benedict Senior, and I call you from Tuesday.
Benedict, let's hear you.
Yeah, my concern has to do with the spillage of water and sewer water which is all over. But my own assessment, I live in Tuesday. I see that water and sewer has installed a lot of plastic pipes all over Tuesday. I don't know about the other area. This is good. From my own assessment, I think it is there to well, at least keeping the water pure.
Okay.
We're trying to avoid the issue of EOAB to rule there. I mean, make a lot of chemicals, other chemicals, and what have you.
Okay.
But now you see that motorbikes and vehicles are traveling all over the city. And as a result, they are damaging the point because the points are near on the bare ground.
Okay.
So I want to know what plan the managing director has to protect the pipe so as to avoid the losses. Because
Okay, nice pipe, but they've been broken. So what plans? Let's take the final one. Let's take the final one. Please lower the volume of your radio. Yes, please lower the volume of your radio. Thank you. Hello. So we'll take the next one. If you want to be a part, lower the volume of your radio, please. Hello, caller. Okay, so we're gonna stop there. Do we have a caller? Okay, let's take this caller. Hello, caller, the final one.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Hilary Titiri, and I call from Dwazon, Magui County.
Hilary Taylor, let's hear you.
Yeah, so I just call to applaud and commend the hard work that the new senior management team at Liberia was doing. So we are seeing the overnight changes and hard work that they continue to do. Okay. But I also want to encourage them to not even feel reluctant maybe in 2 to 3 years to come. Because right now, we in Liberia, we are seeing the evidence work that they are doing to improve the corporation.
Okay.
So as time goes back, we don't want to see them to be reluctant, and then what they are doing now for which.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, Mr. Managing Director, a couple of calls there. Can you now respond to the callers?
Thank you. Yeah, I was taking note. Well, Afanso Camara called to compliment. So, Karen, who called from the Virginia Bureau and wanted to know when will we carry water to those areas. My understanding from the technician is that we have pipe up to around the VOA junction. Now, the reason you've not started getting water through those pipes is that we have a booster station at Cardwell Junction, and our booster station got burned, got gutted by fire, I think around 2019. The booster station is there to help to pump the water further to increase the pressure. So the water is not going to go further. You imagine from White Plains to that place to go further, the pressure drops. And so we are in the process of signing a contract with a company to rehabilitate the booster station. Once that booster station is rehabilitated, we'll open the valve at the St. Paul River Bridge on the pipe there and see how far it extends. Then we can put gate valves for people to connect down and register. Then we see how and what it will take it will take to get you connected. Aliyu, of course, Boakai asked about the sewer system. So there are plans in our medium term. We want to dislodge or expand the stabilization pond at Fiama, but the long-term plan is to build a sewage treatment plant there. Now, normally the system is there. The slush is worked on, like I said in my previous comments, by natural forces, the bacteria, the sun rays. We normally are not producing fertilizer there. It used to happen, but those systems are all down. So once we can get money to build the treatment plant, then we'll begin to produce fertilizer there. Benedict from GSA Road talked about the plastic pipes. Yeah, most of our pipes have been exposed by people who normally do this small road construction. Water pipes and other utilities normally run along the road for ease of connection. So when they take somebody get out and takes yellow machine, they pull on the road, to doing they expose the pipe, and then the bike passing, the car passing, the road on them, they get broken. It is a serious challenge for us. And in this day and age, we are transformed from using iron pipes because they get corroded. Prior to the war, those who were connected to iron pipe, sometimes water ain't coming there for 2 days, and the next time the water comes out, what you see is just all rust. So we are pipes again. So we use these plastic pipes to avoid corrosion. So what we are doing now, whenever we see a broken pipe, we fix it, we bury it in the ground so as to avoid the thing of the pipes, being destroyed by cars or motorcyclists. We're also in touch with the public works. Whenever people are doing construction work somewhere, road construction work, we need to be on the site. Our technician need to be on site so as to ensure that our pipes are not broken or they are not exposed to pedestrian or motorcyclists or even motorists in general. So let me say thank you to Hillary who called from Makibi. We are not going to be reluctant until we can achieve our goals while we are at water and sewer. On that note, let me say thank you to all of the callers, and we will continue to encourage you to report wherever you see leak or water theft.
Okay, so let me now take you back to the panelists for their concluding comments tonight, and I like to start with Thomas this time around. Thomas, can we have your concluding comment for the show tonight?
For me, I will say that given our past, in terms of the upheaval in Liberia, it is not surprising the challenges that this institution is undergoing. Um, by the institution, I mean the Liberia Water and Sewage Corporation. But before I go, I would like to, remind the director to, in addition to all of the plans you have, to take into consideration your preparedness, given the kind of situations we are experiencing when rain falls in, a couple of days. You see all these flooding all around the place. Um, Crisis preparedness, to ensure that there is some kind of disaster recovery, plan in place so that when there's a natural disaster or some kind of disaster, that it doesn't disrupt the services that are provided by the Liberia Water and Sewage Corporation. And also, when you do contracts with these investors that you are hoping to get into business with, please ensure that these contracts are very firm and very protective of the investors' interest, so that should there be any problem, 12, 18, or, a couple of years down the line, these investors can still remain protected to be able to get their money back and thereby boosting the confidence of other will-be investors. Um, so yeah, with that, I want to say that I will close on and give other people the chance to add their comments.
So
Thank you very
quickly,
much.
thank you. Let me come in quickly. You talk about the flooding and things. So those are things that fall on that don't fall under the duration, or I mean the jurisdiction of water and sewer. There is a public drainage system which is strictly under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Public Works. They are responsible for drainage. They are responsible for all of these alleys. But let me say one of the major problems again why we are experiencing high level of flooding is because people are building in waterways. When you build in a waterway, then the water will find all of me. If it rains heavily, the water do not have the space, the passage to flow easily either in the rivers or in the swamp or into the sea. And so the water sets there because the houses are there. There's no way for the water to go. And then the drainage system is blocked because we are dumping dirt in them. So yeah, it's a good thing that you talked about it. I believe the public works and other relevant entities, the EPA, should begin to publicize this. But we need to take hard decisions in demolishing structures that are in waterways and in alleyways. Thank you.
Thank you. So we go over to Sissy Go for his parting comment. A minute to a minute and a half. Please.
I trust me. I'll hurry up. More, thank you again for availing yourself. I think based on the calls, you've been doing a good work. Based on what I heard from the callers, and they're all applauding you. I would just like to end by saying that I hope you do. You expand your community outreach when it comes to talking about the non-revenue water waste. If you have 70% of your water that you're pumping out going into waste, like just quantifying that, laying that down for the common Liberian person to understand, you can't run a business on only getting 30% coming, right? You're losing 70%. Even if you're selling pepper, you bring a whole, pepper bucket to the market and you have to waste 70%. It is not a profitable business. So I will hope you can expand on that, because I think when Liberians understand how money is going to waste and how that money, the 70% could be used for other things, I think it goes a long way. The last piece I want to end up is to advise or suggest that if you're already doing this, to expand on it, and if you're not, to think about it, is a way to harvest our rainwaters. We have half of the year where it rains in Liberia. How are we harvesting that water at LWSC to be able to roll it out to our consumers? Again, thank you so much. I know it was difficult for you to come on, and I appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you very much. So we go back now to our guest. 1 minute for your final closure for the night.
So again, let me appreciate the LBS crew for the marvelous work. I've been following the program, and the part that really makes me excited is that you have people all over the country following through the radio stations, and so we want you to continue. Let me again say that we will continue to work to restore the real nature of what water and sewer was established for. We want to reach all of the county capitals at least in the next 5 years, and also expand our water supply system in Morovia. We want to get a modern sewage treatment plant. And lastly, our water treatment plant at White Plains has a capacity to produce 16 million gallons a day. Our long-term plan is to expand that so that it can be able to produce 40 million gallons a day. And again, where we are working on the reducing the non-revenue water, like you talked about it. And let me say thank you to the crew, and thank you for having me on your show tonight.
Thank you very much, the Managing Director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. Fabian, you have any final comment for the night?
Yes, I want to thank the Managing Director for showing up at least upon our invite. And also want to thank our panelists that joined us tonight for the program. And you heard it from the Managing Director, and we hope to have him another time on this program to explain more, because earlier on, before he came in, there were a lot of callers calling that wanted to interact with him, and taking into consideration the weather today, and we know the internet has been a challenge since day, but we hope to bring him back on the show. And I want to tell him thank you to our listeners and followers, our panelists, and our guests tonight. It was a great time. And so tomorrow we'll be back here on the radio, on the television, and tomorrow hopefully we will be discussing security issues, and hope to have the boss of the Liberia Immigration Service, Anthony Steve Zago, as our guest tomorrow, as we join him to discuss security surrounding LIS and other issues across the country.
Thank you and good night.